Welcome guys to another tutorial from the GDreview. This tutorial is going to be basically how to migrate your hosting to a new host. So it's basically from Cpanel to Cpanel. If you don't use Cpanel, then you need to refer to your host to find out how to migrate across to a new provider. But this is going to be a quick video for you on how to move servers. It includes SSL, all your files being backed up and moved to a new host. Okay, so what's actually involved in that is file restoration. So basically file restoration, so backing up the files from your old host to your new host. We've got database restoration, so that's uploading and restoring your database the easiest way best possible, and updating, configuring the database for use. This also will transport any SSL certificates you've got on the old hosting company over to the new one as well. So I'm gonna, without further ado, let's move on and start the backup. First of all, what you need to do is log into your old hosting company that you're moving from, and basically back up your website. So you need to download the files and get ready to restore them to the new host. So this is a common sort of like web interface, Cpanel. If you don't have Cpanel, then you'd need to refer to your hosting company's information on how to restore. But for Cpanel, basically you go to backup. Okay, and to download all the files that's within your host, you need to go to at the top it will say full backup. Okay, don't go for the home directory, ignore that. That's a potential partial backups. Okay, so you click that there, and then you put your email address in this box here. My email address is in there, but I will blank that out because I don't want people spamming me. And then you click generate backup. It will take approximately about 30 to 40 minutes, depending on the size of the files within the control panel. And then basically it will send you an email telling you that the backup's ready to download. That in that instance, you go back onto your Cpanel, go back onto backups, and it will show at the top here in writing. You click that link, and it will download the WinRAR file. Okay, now WinRAR basically is this program here. If you haven't got WinRAR, then I'll provide all the links at the bottom of the in the description. So you'll need WinRAR, and I'll explain basically if you're using a 64-bit computer, then you just download that's command line. So use WinRAR, so 64-bit. You go for English, preferably. Yeah, English. There we go, 64-bit. You click that link, download it, install it, and it will recognize the files that you need to thingy. Most of the time, you probably would have a program called WinZip as such normally. Okay, so what I'll do now is go back. Once you've downloaded that and that's all done, you'll need to download your database files as well. So your database files are here. Now, normally within the full backup, you will have the database files within there. But I will say that sometimes they might get corrupted. I'm not saying they will. I'm not saying they won't, but they might get corrupted. If that happens, then you can download these ones here as well. These are individual backups for your database. Anyway, so once you've downloaded all that, we're going to move on to the next stage, which the next stage of this is to restore the files. Now, I've already downloaded these previously. Okay, so I've already downloaded these, which are here. Okay, and what I'm going to do is basically restore them to my Cpanel, and I'll take you through the full steps of doing everything, so your websites are working, up and running, and on the new host, ready for when your hosting company expires. Okay, so let's move on to the next stage. Okay guys, so the next stage, what we need to do is we need to download an FTP client to upload the backup, the data that we've backed up, an FTP program. Now to do that, basically if you type in FTP at the top of the screen on your control panel, this is your new host. Basically what you need to do is, it will basically come up something like this. So what you do is you click configure FTP. Now what I like to do is actually generally create a user, or use the one that you received in the email. If you haven't got that to hand, then you'll need to create a new user. So you'll create like a login details, a password that's acceptable for yourself. Make sure it's secure. I always recommend using generate password, and that's the best way to do it, because what will happen is it will generate a strong password. So you click confirm that you've copied it, and you see it is very, very strong, a strong password. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to get the details for the FTP account and log into it. So the host details. So now what you'll need is an FTP client. Okay, so an FTP client is something you use to upload files to a website. And what I do recommend is a program called FileZilla. It's a free program to use. There is paid FTPs, but this is perfectly fine for what you need it for, to upload and like that. You don't need the server, you need the client. So download the client, install it, and you'll get an application like this. Okay, so what you need to do is you need to input the host details into the first box. So then the username for that account. Now if you're copying pasting, sometimes that happens. Just make sure you go back on that, because otherwise it won't recognize the login details, and the password, which will blank it out automatically. Most FTPs are always on port 21 unless it's a secure FTP, which is SFTP, which SFTP will have its own port, which it should show you on the email that you receive from your host. Okay, and then you click quick connect. Maybe let's have a look. So okay, so let me just back that out of there. So there we go. Okay, quick connect. Okay, it will give you this message on the screen to click OK to that. Always trust the certificate in future sessions. I wouldn't tick that. Just it's better to allow it to connect. Critical error. Let's have a look. Okay, did I do something wrong? Let me just re-enter the details. Now you see, I'm going to leave this in because it's good for you, the viewer, to understand some of the problems you might come up against when entering details like this. So FTP username. I'm going to re-enter the password. Okay, so the password is that, and the port number is 21. Okay. Login authentication failed. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to clear history, clear quick connect, and re-enter the details manually. So copy link address. Is that given the HTTP? So that should be, if I remember rightly, that should say FTP. So just change that for FTP, and then copy the rest of the information. port 21. Okay. Okay. I'm going to just pause the video momentarily just to see if I can actually figure out why it's doing that. Okay, so I'll be right back. Okay, so I've managed to connect this time, and what I've come to the conclusion of what was happening was when I was entering the password, it was actually coming up with a space, but yet I couldn't see it. So it was coming up with a space lock on the username. So make sure if obviously that happens to you, enter the password manually, and don't forget the port number. Okay, so what it's showing now is basically all the files that we've got in our main directory. Okay, so what we need to do is we need to upload the backup to the main directory. So basically what I've got is I've got the, let me just minimize the background. Okay, so what I've got here in this box, just let me just put this here. Oh, I can't put that there. Okay, so look. No. Okay, right, so I'm just going to drag this. I'm going to open it up and just show you it. So right, so we've got this here. Okay, so we got the we got two folders. We got this one here, which is the main backup. So let me just make sure this is the correct one before I drag it in there, because if it's not correct, it's not gonna work. So let's have a look. So it's just reading the files. Look at the bottom. Okay, so this is the correct file because it's got basically backup folder. So it's got a folder inside the extract. So now inside that folder there is going to be all the actual files we need. So this is the correct one. I'm just going to show you what the incorrect one will look like. So the incorrect one, let's reopen the okay. So if it doesn't show, if it shows you a load of folders, then you need to go back and download the correct backup. You've used the home directory instead of the full backup. There you go, look, it's showing all the files. Okay, so that's fine. So we've selected to upload it. We can get rid of that box. Actually, I'll just move that off to the side, minimize it. So now basically at the top of the FTP you'll have transfer, and it will say process queue. You just click that and it will start uploading the data to the main directory, which is where we need it. Okay, so what I'm going to do, because this will take approximately about 20 odd minutes, so go make yourself a coffee, come back once it's done and continue the video. So I'll be back shortly, but instant for you. Okay, so once that that upload is finished, it will show in the window right at the bottom of your FTP file, and for the moment you don't need the FTP any further unless the database files are actually corrupt. So these files here are if they do end up corrupt within that folder you uploaded, then you might need them to upload that file, the FTP. So so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go back to the control panel. Okay, and go back to the main screen of the control panel. Okay, so what you need to do now is go to File Manager, which if you can't see it where I'm seeing it now, just search for File Manager, click to open the File Manager, and there's the document there in the File Manager. But before you extract it, what you need to do is you need to click Settings, and then basically you'll have show hidden files, and in brackets it will say dot files. Tick that and click save. Okay, and that'll show a few more files. It shows as dot files. Okay, and then with the box selected, right click and click extract. Okay, where you need to extract it from is the main directory, so don't change this at all, so it will actually extract in the folder it's in currently. Okay, and then just click extract, so it will say home, just leave that blank, don't type anything in there, and then click extract. This will take a few moments, it's not so long to extract it as it is to upload it, so to speak. So okay, so just need to wait for this to extract. While you're waiting, if this video has helped you out so far, don't forget to click the like button, and also if you want to see any future videos that I upload, don't forget to follow me, and also ring that bell to get notified when I upload them. If you do need any further help, put a message in the comments and I'll be sure to try and help you. Okay, so you'll get this message up on screen saying what files have been extracted. You don't really need to look through that, just click close. Okay, then what you need to do is at the top of the screen it will say reload. Click the reload button, and then basically you should see a folder. Okay, so now going back to your main home directory, we need to go back in. We need to make a start on restoring the database files. Okay, now that involves entering and creating a new database. Okay, so what you need to do is go into the backup folder, find MySQL. Okay, and then what we need to do is we need to select the SQLs we want to modify. So we select these three SQLs. So these three. Okay, so those three we want to modify. So there will be an option up here to download them. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to select to download. Multiple files download, allow, there we go. Okay, so it's downloading all these files now. Okay, now basically what we need to do is we need to go back to the control panel. There's one of three ways to actually restore database files, and one of those ways is to restore it through the Cpanel, which we still need to create databases. So let me just do that. This is the preferred method that I would actually choose. So we've got the free databases there. What you do is you go to backup, which is there. Okay, and then what you do is you find the option to restore a MySQL database backup, which should be along here. So restore a MySQL database backup. So what you do is you select file. Okay, and then you go to downloads. I think we've been downloads, and then we go to D drive. Yeah, D drive, and then go to downloads. Where's downloads? Okay, so open downloads, and they should be in here. So what are they called? Have a look, see what they're called. Okay, so Right, so I found the first one, which is there. Okay, so select that one, which is the that one there. So upload. It will go blank for a few moments, and then it should basically give you a done. Right, okay, so that's done. And what we need to do is go back into backups, and then we need to upload the next one. So choose file again, and then select the next one, which is that. Upload. So as you can see, there's a percentage sign at the bottom of the address bar saying how far it's thingy. This one might take a little bit longer because it is quite a large database actually of Chrome, and it's just not doing anything at the moment. I've refreshed it on the other screen, and I've uploaded the last database, which wasn't very large. The middle one was 671 megs, so it was quite a large file to upload. So what I'm going to do while that's still whirring away, I'm not going to bother interrupting it for the moment, is I'm going to move on to the next stage, which is what we need to do is we need to go back to the home screen, and we need to create a user. So the first thing we need to do is go to MySQL databases, and what I'm going to do is, as you can see, the database names are here. Now, when you're on a shared hosting or a full server of your own, what Cpanel will do is it will create a database starting with the it will randomly create a username for you, which the first part is always the username that you use for Cpanel, so to speak. So that's the username that I use currently. So what you need to do is, obviously it's going to have left over from the previous host, which is that one there, what the username used to be. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to click rename. Okay, so I'm not going to keep the that part there is, and I'm going to delete that part of that because it's already got an underscore. It has to have an underscore in it, so you always leave the underscore on the new host name. Okay, so I'm just rename that one there. Okay, so that's renamed at the bottom there, so I'll just rename the other ones quickly. Right, there we go. Okay, so the databases are all thingy. Now I know what you're saying. The databases are all empty. According to what you're seeing on the screen, the size is nothing. Okay, that will be apparent in a few moments. But what we first of all need to do is we need to create a username. Okay, to do that, basically we scroll down to this part here on the same screen. Okay, so what I did was scroll down. You create a username. Now what I'm going to do is the username is going to be I'd probably say I'm going to use the username exactly the same as the website, except for I'm going to miss the domain part of it, which obviously not all of them have got domain names parts on it. So the username is going to be this. So that's that one. Okay. And what I need to do, so username, okay, generate, there we go, right, okay. So so we're creating the username, so now I'm going to create a password for it. So I'll click this here. Now for obvious reasons I will blank this out because I don't want you to obviously know the password, so I'm going to basically click this a few times and click fill password. That will fill both passwords, and then you create the user. Okay, so there's no need for yeah, there is need for me to actually know that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to update and save that, so I've got record of that. Okay, and then you go back. Okay, so that's the first username created. So now what we need to do is we need to tie that to a database. So username, it will be that. and the database will be that. So we click add. Okay, you allow all privileges and you click make changes. Okay, and then you click back because it's accepted it. At the top there you can see actually you can't see that part there, but let me just move that over so you can see that. So there we go, it says accepted the username being added to that database. You have to assign a username each time to the specific database, otherwise it won't accept it. And it just makes sense really to create a master user for each database. Okay, right, so I'm gonna probably do that all with all three, but what I'm going to do in the meantime is I'm just going to pause the video. Okay, so like I said at the start, there is a few ways to actually restore databases. What you can do first of all is you can create a new database and then restore that from myadmin.php and upload all the content to that file. Because we've already done that restoring the main database, then we don't need to do that from that kind of perspective. So what we now need to do is we need to do the configuration of the database. So that involves adding the username, password. So all these files read from the database currently. One thing I did forget to mention while you're on the MySQL database screen, how you would know everything succeeded correctly is it will have a privileged user next to each representing thingy. So I've created it so the username is exactly the same as the database name. Okay, so I'm going to close that down because we don't need to use that any further. So I'm going to go back to the main screen. The next thing we need to do is we need to use the file manager again. So right click, open in new tab. Okay, and then it involves basically configuring your database. So so in fact, let's go back, and what we need to do is we need to go back into our backup folder. So go into backups. So the config file in question will be in your different files and folders. So like for instance the website domain add-ons, so to speak, would be domain add-ons whatever your website is. It's not a good example for the I think that's a different file type. So what you've got includes admin content, so you're looking for config. So look, so class. Feel free to pause the video while you're looking for this file. So if you're restoring a website that you're familiar with where the files are, for WordPress it's in the main directory of your installation. So it will be basically your domain something, so if I go into home dir, it will be your domain something config. So what you do is you right click and click edit, and then click edit again. Okay, and then basically what you're looking for is this here. So currently the username and password are these here, the username and password to what you set it to within the MySQL. So just go to that now. So my SQL database. So currently my username for this one would be that. Which one is this actually? It's a lot. So this is the so this is the one for that. Okay, and then the password is to whatever you set the password to be. So I'm just going to basically go here and let's have a look. So I'm going to move this box over because I don't really want you all knowing what the password is. So copy, and then close. And what I'm going to do for obviously for the video is I'm going to basically enter this password and blank it out on screen so you don't know what the password is. So I've created the password, okay, within there. Okay, there's nothing else you need to do in this file apart from click save. Okay, so save. Okay, that's saved, and then you can close that one out. And then you need to do that with each obviously if you're using WordPress, you need to do that with each WordPress installation. So that's basically that one done at the moment. So I need to do the other two. So what I'm going to do while I'm just doing the other two is I'm going to pause the video and I'll be back with you in a few moments. Okay, one thing I've just realised I made a mistake of on the changing the basically adding all this information in. What I didn't include was the username for the database. Well, not the username, but the database name. It's very important. If you miss that step, it won't find the database and it won't connect. You'll end up with a load of data errors on screen when you try and load the web page. Okay, so make sure the database name is correct, which the database name is this name here. Okay, it doesn't say name, it says database, but that is the database name that you need to actually input on there. But it's the same as your username anyway for this database, for this tutorial. I'm more than likely going to change it just to make it a bit more secure for my website. So that's the database name. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to save that now, and obviously I'll change that shortly just to make my site a little bit more secure. Okay, so we're coming to the very last one of the last parts of this this main video on restoring your migrating your domain to a new host. So what we need to do is we need to go to the backup folder, which is right here, and then you go to the home dir. Okay, and then within the home dir you'll see all your current files that you had originally in there. So what you need to do is select all, okay, and then right click and then copy, and what you'll get is basically the option on the screen where you want to basically put that to. Now the place you need to put that all these files is in your main directory, which is /public HTML. So it would look like something like this. So /public.html, and that's where you need to copy all these files to. It will copy any emails that you had, any user accounts, all the information that you need. So you click copy, file exists, right? Okay, so it just told us there was already some files there that already existed. So if I go into the HTML file now, all the files will be there, and we've already done all the database files, so the website is all complete. Okay, so what you need to do next is head over to your host, and basically you'll have an email from them that you got when you first set up the account. Let me just go back, just trying to find my email. Okay, so your domain name host should look something a bit like what I'm looking at right now. So it will basically show you what you need to actually add in there. So so it's got name servers. Okay, so name servers on there, which is mainly it's on a premium at the moment, which is web hosting. So you go to basic DNS or custom DNS, and you add the name servers in. Now with the email you got from your host, you'd have like something saying like DNS1. GoDaddy or Namecheap or Hostgator, something similar to this, and you need to basically put these into the and then that will basically change that over for you. Okay, so that's basically changed everything over to the new host. So let me just, it sometimes can take 24 hours to take effect, but let me just see if it works. No, so it's mygamer.uk. So this should basically redirect to mygamer. Yeah, there we go. That's the on the current host. If you did like the this video and it did help you out quite a bit on how to restore your database and your domain to a new host, or if you're moving host, so to speak, give us a like and don't forget to follow and subscribe for more videos. Until next time, bye for now.